Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here at tablemon. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be playing with Lugia VSTAR Cinccino today. Now, this is my personally preferred list. Lugia did have a very successful weekend this past weekend at the Tournament of Doom World Championships, where 4 of them made top 8. I believe it also ended up winning a Japanese prestigious tournament where Tord Raklev attended, and it was like a big deal where Lugia VSTAR was half the top cut as well. And Lugia VSTAR is incredibly powerful, right? Getting those Archeops into play, having infinite energy attachment, not infinite, but having a lot of special energy attachments to take advantage of powerful attackers like Blood Moon Saluna EX, Iron Hands EX, and also Cinccino, which to me is the star of the show. A lot of those lists were only playing a 2-2 line or a 3-2 line. I really like the 3-3, just to make sure that you have the best chance at getting 2 Cinccinos out during the game, right? Because Cinccino can do unlimited damage, can 1-KO anything, and can 1-KO those big 280, 300, 330 HP price Pokemon with its attack in order to trade 2 for 1, right? And if there's a 4 or 5 energy powered up Cinccino in play, you have to deal with it. You force your opponent to deal with it, therefore protecting essentially your Archeops, protecting your Lugia as well, because they need to be aware that that thing is going to 1-KO them back to back and trade the price trade in your favor. Now, outside of that, we do have the Flutter Mane. There's a lot of Iron Thorns EX seemingly going around. Pretty straightforward. Supporter setup with 3 research, 3 Iono, 3 boss, and the 1 Jack for versatility. And of course, we have 4 Ultra Ball, the loved and hated 4 Capturing Aroma, and then Great Ball, double jamming tower as well. There's so many useful tools going around that shutting them down or having a chance at shutting them down early and late, I think is worth it. And then we have 17 total special energy. I know a lot of people get away with 16. I feel like 17 is like the perfect number to have just enough to power up everything that you might need throughout a game. Of course, there's differing opinions on that, but let's jump into some games, see how we do. All right, so Lugia being a Lugia with a decent hand, not the best, not the worst. We are up against likely Charizard, perhaps Dragapult, perhaps some sort of Lost Box deck, double Duskull in play, and an Arceus. All right, so never mind. We're up against a completely brand new deck. Will my opponent whiff here the energy attachment? If so, that would be pretty big. They're not immediately attaching, so either they're debating which energy to attach or they just don't have an energy. I guess they were debating the Squawk, Howard's a Luna as well, so this is sort of an Arceus box deck with Hyperoma. Interesting. That Hyperoma spec, I mean, it makes sense, right? Gets you the Arceus VSTAR, gets you the Duskulls, or the Dusclops, sorry. Now, it does seem like I'm gonna, oh, that's a really insane top deck. So I was about to say, I need to bench double Lugia. And this is why 1 Call for Family Cinccino, I feel like it's so good. It's just like you can sometimes weave it in very nicely to do things like this. This now allows me to grab an Archeops off of this Ultra Ball. It also allows me to bench double Lugia V off of just the attack, right? And now I've checked, I do have the other Lugia V-Stars available, so things just ended up working out quite decently, except this hand's not great. So we are actually rooting for my opponent to Iono me or judge me, because this hand leaves a lot to be desired. And then I didn't play the Great Ball there. It's just a waste of our resource. By using the Call for Family there, I'm thinning the Lugias, and therefore I'm increasing the chance of finding the Lugia V-Star up next. Now my opponent could go double Dusclops, KO the active Cinccino or the benched one, and then attack the active, and that would eliminate all my Cinccinos from play, which would not be ideal. We see the thicker Dusknoir line, so a lot of interesting options for sure. The big thing for my opponent is they don't have a draw support system at this point in time. Double Carmine. I really hope they judge me, honestly, because my hand's just not great. Now, in case they do, I do have the boss plus potential, like to bring up their Saluna and try to stall them a little bit. They can't power up their Saluna, which is really good news. This will also give me prize cards, right? Which could help me or could not help me. They do decide to go after the Lugia, and I do get Ionoed. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Didn't draw anything great. And I really think my opponent's best bet here would have been to go, like, target the Minchinos. Why are they targeting the Lugia? That doesn't make much sense, honestly. Because then you eliminate both Minchinos at the same time. And that's really good, right? Now I will potentially be able to use them. So, not sure I agree with my opponent's decisions at this point in time. They really want to go after the Lugia, which I think is wrong. They're not really identifying that the threats are the Cinchinos, not the Lugia, right? If you're going up against the Lugia, you're trading 2 for 2, 2 for 2, whereas the Cinchinos will trade 2 for 1. So, alright. Now, by having this Minchino with the 1 energy, I can play with 1 Archeops and still get the 1-hit KO, which doesn't seem too bad, honestly. So, I mean, it all depends on if I get the Lugia VSTAR, right? However, we know the bottom, like, 8 cards are not Lugia VSTAR or Ultra Balls, so I feel like my odds were pretty good. However, now it comes down to a coin flip. How have I not drawn a single Ultra Ball or Lugia VSTAR? I don't know. So we need to flip heads here. If we flip tails, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. All right, we do flip heads. So I'm just going to go all in here. Nope, not with you. With you. I'm going to go all in on this. Get the KO and my opponent has nothing. Like, literally my opponent has no follow-up. So really don't think they did that too well. From my perspective, I mean, they could blow up Dusknoir, blow up Dusclops to knock out my Archeops, but then they can't attack. I mean, that would give me 2 more prizes. Maybe they could attack with their Saluna then. I'm still not a fan of that, honestly. Could also prevent the prize card, but I mean, it's weird. The weird game for sure. Like, my opponent could purposely put themselves down, put me down to 1 prize card, making their Ursaluna attack for free, and then take these 2 out. But then I can use my Ursaluna. That's not enough, but I have Boss plus Ursaluna, so I think we're fine. This is weird for sure. Yeah, but the fact that my opponent has no backup is just really, really sad for them. So I'm comfortable playing with 1 Archeops. If they give me 2 prizes just to attack with Ursaluna, then I just win. They would need to disrupt me as well. And I would still have the gift energy activated. So I think I'm okay. I really think I'm okay at this point in time. Like, using Dusclops is to their detriment at this point in time. Playing with 1 Archeops is not easy, but clearly they have to deal with us in Chino. I guess they could blow up Dusknoir, boss KO the Archeops. Like, that might be their best bet. That eliminates the energy from play, eliminates the Archeops as well. But then I still win. They get 2 prizes. My Ursaluna is attacking for 1 energy. I go Jet Boss win on the Squawk. So, I don't know. We'll see. A lot of possibilities for my opponent. A lot of possibilities for me to react to that. And if they activate the gift, I will just have more possibilities as well. Now they have the free train more Pico, so I mean, they're playing an original deck, sure, but sometimes that's just not very competitive. Double Ursaluna makes sense. I mean, if they just KO, no, they're just gonna give me the prize card. Set up their Saluna themselves, which is fine. Because if they KO their Saluna instead with a boss, then I just have Cinchino to win the game. So it's a lose-lose for them to do this. My Archeops will now live, so I'm getting Roxanne into the gift energy, so it's completely okay. Unless they find Temple of Sinnoh or Jack. then that would have merit, but I mean, which they might, but playing Temple of Sinnoh in a deck that plays 4 double turbo energy is probably not the best idea. So I haven't won yet. Definitely haven't won yet. Because I whiffed a boss, or an Ultra Ball, or a Luminion, or a Great Ball. What is happening? Even a Capturing Aroma. Like, alright, it's all good. All good. Lugia is completely safe, so getting the energies on the completely safe Pokemon, I think, will be worth it. How am I whiffing this badly? Like, we're actually gonna check my outs. There's 1 Luminion prize, right? So 1 Luminion, 3 Boss, 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Capturing Aroma, and 2 Great Ball to just like dig deeper into the deck. Oh well, it is what it is. Just makes things a bit more awkward, but I'm still in the driver's seat, I would say, right here. And just in case, well, I guess that one's actually irrelevant. So I do have the double turbo, which is cool. And we're just gonna go Temple. I mean, Tempest Dive, not Temple. I don't want to discard the Stadium. I have a lot of outs I can top deck to just find the boss to win the game. So what could they do? Bird Candy, Dusknoir, Chaos and Chino, plus Boss KO or Saluna. Still no Ultra Ball. Okay, well, seems like they're gonna be able to freely switch. They have the Dust Clubs. That does mean KO on the Lugia, right? If they blow up the Dust Clubs. Which is honestly not bad. Okay, they're not gonna do it yet. Okay, so now I'm in trouble. Alright, never mind. I mean, the fact that I whiffed so much was weird. But it is what it is, right? Like, you're never guaranteed anything of the sort. On to the next match. Alright, so decent hand if we flip tails, horrible hand if we flip heads. There's a Flutter Mane in the active. Ooh. Okay, amazing hand if we flip tails here with the Capturing Aroma. No. Okay, well, unfortunate. It's all good though. So, I think we're gonna get rid of the Iono here along with the Archeops. I will establish the Lugia. Dang, if I had flipped tails, it would have been perfect. I just benched that, and then next turn I go Jack for 2 Archeops, Ultra Ball for the Archeops for Lugia VSTAR, and we are set, right? Unfortunately, that's not gonna be a possibility here, so we're just gonna pass. I also can't Jack into Research, or I can, but it would take an extra turn, right? So depending on how strong my opponent's start is, we'll evaluate if that's worth it or not, all right? We will definitely make that evaluation right here. Also our top deck, right? Our top deck could also change that. Could also Pokestop. All right, those energies indicate that it is Raging Bolt, which makes this start that I just had even scarier for sure. I think if I had known it was Raging Bolt, I definitely would have chosen to go second. The Sada giving them the two, I mean the Pokestop giving them the 2 energies for the maximum value Sada is also very scary. Now a couple Ogre Pawns, a Iron Bundle, or the Prime Catcher could be a little tricky, especially if they knock out Lugia, right? If they knock out Lugia, the game's basically over. If they don't, that tail slip is really gonna hurt. However, I could try my luck with Pokestop. I definitely could. It's risky. The chance of me discarding an Archeops is incredibly small. However, the chance of me finding Ultra Ball or Capturing Aroma or Great Ball, not horrible. Now that attachment does indicate that my opponent's hand is very underwhelming. Legacy Energy is interesting. I think the Jack is a little too slow at this point, so I'm gonna try my luck with the Pokestop. Nope. And I lost a key card in the Cinccino and another Iono. Alright. Not ideal. I think it's just gonna have to be research here. If I Jack, it's just too slow. And I need to try to take advantage of my Bonsal start. However, I am not able to find a Lugia VSTAR or an Archeops or a way to discard them. Alright, I guess I'll keep the Archeops here. Capturing our Oma. Tails, alright. That's pretty good, because then I can get this dude. Or a backup Lugia. I think it's gonna be a backup Lugia. Yeah. I think it's gonna be the backup Lugia. So this is the plan. Since I do have the Legacy Energy on the Lugia, this is a one price Pokemon, right? And it's important to do the 2/2 and break the 2/2 for them. So, I mean, yeah, let's evolve for sure. And then we'll go Read the Wind. Now I have the two Archeops in the discard pile, I have the research follow-up, I have energy attachment, I have my Lugia safely on the bench, safely-ish. I have my Cinccino established, so slower start on my side as well. But we'll manage, right? We will manage. And if my opponent ends up knocking out the Lugia V, I could end up return KOing with Ursaluna. Jamming Tower blocks any potential Bravery Charm, so it's dicey. But I think the Legacy Energy on the Lugia was a pretty good move. Alright, so the ball is on the record. I'm gonna make it as difficult as possible for them to go 2/2/2, right? Like that's generally the plan. That retreat could indicate that they're gonna Sada for just the grass, which would be great. Could also indicate a Burst Roar, which would be fantastic, but no, it's just gonna be Sada for the grass. So very underwhelming start for them as well, which is great for me, not so great for them. And there you go, Palpad, back to Sadas, understandably so. Less good now that I have two Ionos in the discard pile, I guess. So yeah, I mean, this game honestly might come down to my opponent's very underwhelming start. They're really struggling to just do anything. They're trying to barely draw some cards. They haven't even used Ogre Pawn, even though it's been down the last turn and this turn. Finally find a grass. To deal land, it's just one energy though, of course. Sorry, it's just one card, which sometimes that's enough, right? That might have been the fighting that they needed. And they will get a KO, but it's only one price card. And that's the big, big thing. So Legacy Energy coming in super, super clutch here. Now, my only job is to not fail to get... Oh, wait, what? Oh, that top deck is really sad. Oh well. So my only job is to not miss Lugia VSTAR. That's literally my only job. And the Jack's gone, so I can't minion for the Jack. And even if I could, I wouldn't have space. So I need Ultra Ball or Lugia VSTAR. And we find it. I mean, honestly, should I do this? I'm gonna retreat anyways. Does it ever matter? It does, because they could attack with this, put one damage counter, and that would be bad. So there's the answer. All right. I'm pretty sure the game's gonna be over. Not over, but like they didn't get a prize card for some reason, which is great news for me. Great news for me. And then we're gonna go Primal Turbo, Double Turbo, and something else. The damage reduction is not a big deal. Not a lot of energies left in my deck. There's 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I probably priced a couple. I definitely should be. I feel like I definitely get a little lazy on the price checking in specifically with live. All right, in real life, I definitely are. I'm a lot more thorough, but when playing live, there's just so many things I want to talk about almost everything. I think this game's just gonna come down to my opponent's underwhelming start. I also had an underwhelming-ish start, but not as bad as theirs. And now we're in generally perfect position to just completely run away with the game uncontested, right? I have the initiative. There's nothing threatening me at this point in time. My opponent, even if they try to go 2-2-2, I have the power-ups in Chino, which just attacks, forcing them to deal with it. Therefore, I need to deal, or I need to power up and whatnot, but I think there's no shot, right? Unless I whiff like majorly, like, or they have the one thing that they could do to overturn things would be Bravery Charm plus Pokestop to take away my jamming tower, so that now that I've lost those Cinchinos and the only one I have left is in the active, that does mean I can't get a KO on something that has more than 240 HP. Right, like my maximum damage output after this Cinchino goes down is 240. So that's the sort of thing that I'm thinking and analyzing as my opponent's turn goes by. Right, I feel like this is something that not a lot of players do, is they finish their turn and then that's it. Right, they just watch their opponent play. But as your opponent plays, you need to be very aware of what's happening, what resources they're using, them check their discard pile, right? Check yours, like already start planning ahead, start planning what you're going to do, how you are going to adapt to things that they are doing, and how are you going to close out the game, right? So right now, my only concern, I have my Archeops, I have my attackers set up. They can't afford to go after an Archeops because then the Cinchino is available. So even if I don't get 2 prizes this turn, which I probably won't unless I top deck the boss, that's fine, right? I'll have a 3 prize increase. The one thing that could stop me from taking a prize at any given point would be the Bravery Charm plus a Pokestop on my opponent. Now, Cinchino is, as I was saying, the threshold, right, in terms of damage output. So what I can do now, since I top decked the Jet Energy, or I could have just retreated as well. It cost me an energy, but I could have retreated. I'm just gonna attack with this Lugia. This time around, it's the healthiest Pokemon that I have, of course, or the healthiest Lugia rather. And this way I have 2 threats powered up. Now, the minus in terms of energy is perhaps not ideal. And that's okay. I'm obviously not going to discard the Stadium. No. Do not discard Stadium, but this protects my Cinchino, right? Like using Cinchino to just attack the active made no sense whatsoever. And clearly I have enough energies to power up to do 220 if the need arises, right? But at this point in time, this is how I envision the game playing out. They KO the Lugia, I KO with Cinchino, I finish off with Ursaluna. Or worst comes to worst, they KO the Cinchino, which is the biggest threat right now. Then I return KO with the Ursaluna, retreating the double turbo from the Lugia, right? In order to make sure that it's no longer reducing the 20 damage, so that I can do 220 to any of the 2 prize Pokemon on the back in order to win the game, right? Or I just find a boss, right? I have Ultra Ball for Luminion for boss to win the game. So I'm pretty much covered. The game is still 6-3. There's still 2 more turns to go, but I already have a plan in my head of exactly what options I have to win, how I can adapt to whatever my opponent tries to do. And that's all I concern myself with, right? So I don't need to Iono them to bring them down because they have so many cards in hand, which I think is another misconception that happens within the game. People just are so afraid of their opponent, right? Oh, they have a huge hand. When it's like, if you have the initiative like I do, right? If you're ahead, you just need to stay ahead. So you don't need to make your opponent whiff. If you're ahead, you just need to make sure you stay ahead. And sometimes you staying ahead means going boss, to target down something, as opposed to even if they have 20 cards in their hand. Who cares, you know? So here's scenario B, right? Or scenario that I explained. My opponent goes after Cinccino, which is the real threat, which means I in turn return KO the Raging Bolt by retreating the Lugia. However, I don't know if I have enough energies in my deck right now. So I guess I Ultra Ball for Luminion for Iono, right? The last Iono. We'll see. That card is now completely useless. I just need to double check, right? But what my opponent did was the right thing to do. That's exactly what they needed to do in order to come back from this. Okay, so this is really bad. I've drawn most of my energy. I have the double turbo here, so I can't KO anything on the... Well, I can KO the Greninja, actually. Never mind. I can't KO the Greninja. This is really bad. The fact that I priced my third Iono is really, really bad. Yikes. All good though. So I'm gonna go Luminion, boss KO. Oh my gosh, what? Oh, both Luminions are gone. Alright, great. Okay, this is still... No, this is not fine actually. This is really not fine now. This is really not fine. Since I have so many energies in my hand, I couldn't attack. Wow. I mean, and this is also on me, right? Because I didn't check for my Iono, but the fact that my third Iono is prized, I discard the one with Pokestop, etc, etc. It's fine, right? I think it's still fine. All of the scenarios that I've explained, everything's going wrong. Everything that I've planned is going wrong. We're adapting. We still have the initiative, all right? In the prize race, we're still ahead because my opponent only took one prize so far, thanks to the threat level of Cinccino. So they KO me right now, and then I KO them, and then I still have their Saluna. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. How do I knock out them next turn? They're gonna be at 3 prizes. Okay, so maybe I knock them out with Ursaluna. Because I do have a double turbo left in the deck still, which I could end up drawing right now. And that would be really bad. Oh boy, this could be bad, actually. I could end up not having enough energy to win the game. They find Iono. It would be lovely if they played it. Like, that would be a friend Iono. But it's gonna be like on my opponent's mind that they saw me not use Archeops, right? We'll see. I don't know. And I have Gift, so there's not much point to Iono. Yeah, there you go, Sada. That makes sense. All right. I think their best play would definitely be use the other Raging Bolt that they just benched. If they use the other one to knock me out, they're gonna turn things around. They most certainly are going to turn things around because the energies I need are in my hand instead of in the deck where Archeops cannot reach them and I have no way to replenish them or send them back to the deck. So I don't think I can do this actually anymore. Because I'm gonna have to use what? I might have to use the Flutter Mane next turn so I don't expose Ursaluna. This is bad. Oh gosh. Things just completely unraveled. They haven't used their Prime Catcher, right? No, they haven't. Where's the attachment? So if they do that, so I mean, it wouldn't be bad if they use Prime Catcher because then I get to keep the energies. But then I need back-to-back boss. There's the other Bravery Charm, another aspect that could prevent me from winning. Yeah, there's the Prime Catcher. Yep. Alright, I think I'm gonna lose for sure now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose now. I didn't have the legacy energy anymore to use Iron Hands. So we had our plan, but our prizes just had another thing in mind. All right, I do have, I think, 3 bosses orders. So I have a 30% chance to draw a boss right now. It's like the one chance I have. Top deck boss. No, you're not a boss's ordered. I've lost. I have in fact lost this game now. 3 bosses orders. Yeah, I have lost this game now. They have it now. They have the initiative, right? I'm not getting ahead. They played it perfectly with the prime catcher. They switched out, forcing me to have the boss. I would have needed back-to-back bosses orders. They also took down the one thing that could KO them, which they didn't know that I wouldn't have been able to even power it up. So the Iono being prized is what cost me this game, 100%. The Iono being prized lost me this game. So I mean, now I have to hope they somehow whiff, which is obviously not going to happen when they have a 13 card hand, right? They're down only 1 Sada, so this is game over for me. So things just spiraled out of control. Yeah, the prized Iono completely did me in. The Tulu minions in the discard pile completely did me in. The early sequencing, the loss of the Iono, the tail flip, or the head flip rather, the first capturing aroma that I flipped tails on, heads, which couldn't give me, I wanted tails, I flipped heads, that did me in as well. So yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm gonna concede to save time, and this is, I mean, I was very confident in my win. I didn't realize the Iono was priced, clearly it was, and that shifted everything. My opponent played perfectly, very well done by them to turn things around, and that's what can happen in any game of Pokemon. It's important to be aware of what you need to do. It's important to be aware of prices, of course, but even if I had known that, I couldn't have done anything differently at that point. I lost too many Cinchinos early on. I lost the Iono as well. The first one I discarded to research, the other one I lost to the Pokestop, which was a calculated risk. Maybe I shouldn't have risked the Pokestop, right? That's where I lost the Cinchino, and I lost the Iono. Maybe I got punished there for the unnecessary risk. So many things can be unraveled in a game of Pokemon. That's what keeps the game interesting, right? But this is one of my problems with Lugia. Things can start looking really good, but then all of a sudden you start accumulating too many energy in your hand, or you whiff the double Archeops on turn 2, and things can start to go really badly in that way. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed, and I still think Lugia is a top deck. Just turns out you can lose games even though it seems like you're in control, right? Thanks so much, and until the next video. Bye-bye.